everyone, welcome back to Early Literacy Tip Tuesdays. In this video series, we are working our way through the 5 practices of early literacy and digging into each one to see how we can help our pre-readers become better learners throughout life. This week, I want to wrap up our first practice, talking, with a discussion about how children think and ways to help them become better critical thinkers. Let's learn a little bit about our brain first. One way the human brain operates is by way of synapses. Synapses are communications between neurons, or communications between parts of our brains that tell us how to do something, like fine or gross motor skills, or speech or problem solving. A synapse can be as simple as how to pick something up, or as complicated as how to solve a multiplication problem. As adults, we have about 500 trillion synapses that we keep stored in our brains. When we are born, we have all the neurons that we need, but very few connections are made between them. Between birth and the age of 3, we begin making 700 to 1,000 new connections per second. Around age 3, we will have nearly twice as many active synapses as we will have as adults. Later in childhood, the brain begins to weed through these synapses and keeps only the ones that were used repeatedly in everyday life. This is why repetition is so important in early literacy. Talking about actions and singing the same songs over and over again are helping your baby learn the basics of speech, and they will keep those skills for their entire life. A child's brain develops almost 90% before they even reach kindergarten, so connections made before then are very important. So remember, children's brains are working hard to learn about their environment and how to function as a human. It's important to remember this when we ask them questions or give them tasks. Giving your child time to respond to a question, even as simple as "How old are you?" is important for their developing thought process, comprehension skills, and even their confidence. When you ask a child a question, remember the 5-second rule. Ask your question, and then wait at least 5 seconds before asking another question or prompting an answer. Some experts say to wait up to 20 seconds even. This time gives your child time to process the question and sort through their thoughts to provide an answer. If you quickly ask them a follow-up question or prompt an answer, the time that they spent processing that original question starts over or is abruptly cut off. When you ask a child a question, show your full interest. Give them your full attention and show them that you are eagerly waiting for a response. Along with helping children learn good listening skills, this also helps develop their confidence using their voice and their knowledge. If you have a child who answers questions very quickly with wrong answers, you can encourage them to take a few seconds to think before they respond as well. Along with giving your child time to think when you ask a question, it's important to ask the right kinds of questions. Here are some simple tips when it comes to asking our children questions that can help them develop better critical thinking skills. 1. Ask open-ended questions. While it's great for your child to answer questions that have a definitive answer, like their age or what color something is, it's also good to ask them questions that require them to create their own answer. Questions like, "What are you playing with your toys?" Or, "Can you tell me more about your story?" Help your child to create statements of their own and not just recite memorized information. 2. Ask your child why. Ask your child silly questions that require them to think a little bit more, like, "Would you rather go to the moon or the ocean?" And then ask them why. Continuing to think on a question helps them develop those critical thinking skills. 3. Help your child learn to think ahead or develop hypotheses. Ask your child what they think will happen next in a story, or ask them what happens next when they are creating a story of their own. Thinking ahead helps children learn if-then scenarios and also helps develop their storytelling skills. It's important to remember that children learn best when they are experiencing the world for themselves. Asking questions and giving them adequate time to think and respond for themselves helps make these experiences memorable and the skills learned from them stick. Early literacy skills develop from everyday conversations and activities. Try to add this practice to your daily life and watch your child's thinking and talking skills soar. That concludes our videos on the first of the 5 practices, talking. Come back next week to start learning about the next one, singing, and how song and rhyme help our children to learn. Thanks for watching.